Yo. Welcome into the WNBA ChrisBeCappinn Show. Today is May the 23rd. Bunch of games in the W today. Four games. Biggest slate that we've had. WNBA does this thing where to make sure nobody watches the games, they put all of them on at the same time. It's been like that since I started watching a couple years ago, and it continues to be that way. It's super frustrating. It's 4 games today. You can bet your bottom dollar that 3 of them start at the same time. So, with that being said, let's jump into them for today. So as always, we'll start off with a quick recap, as we always do. Yesterday was 2 games in the W. I bet one of them I leaned over in the Liberty in Chicago Sky game. Didn't get to the play. I did. It wasn't 1-0. So it would have been 2-0 yesterday had I made both of the plays. But we'll take the 1-0 day. Bounce back spot for Indiana. In Atlanta yesterday, they came out super slow and sluggish, but -1.5. I think they had a 3-point lead at halftime. So we've hit 5 plays in a row now. After starting the season off 0-2, feels good to be on the right side. Hopefully, we can find some winners for today as well, and continue that upward momentum and trend for sure. Good morning, Algina. Appreciate you for tapping this. It's cashed on the members pick last night. We're on a little hot streak in the WNBA. Let's keep it going. That's a fact, Algina. Community said went back to the dream first half money line plus 170. Man, they want Caitlin Clark and the Fever to win at all costs. What up, Kev? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Scott. What up, Hude? Mark says good morning, Chris in chat. DJ Prop says good morning. Just missed the NBA show for an appointment, but I'm tapped in. Valkyries plus 11.5. Okay, let's talk about it. Marquise, good morning, bro. Since Rise and Grind. Enjoying a 4-day weekend. Let's get some money. I need them. I love it. Says I need some picks, y'all. Shout out. Lee Anthony says no offense, but if Vandersloot is one of your leading scorers, it's going to be a very long day for your squad. That's a fact. That is a fact, man. I can compare Courtney Vandersloot to Al Horford a couple weeks ago. I still believe in that. What up, Justin? Dirty Riggs says the first half point and 1 point saved me yesterday. Had Bree Jones under 15.5 points. She finished with 15, and they took the Sky. Took the Sky to score under a total of 75. They scored 74. These lines are sharp sometimes, Ray. They are, bro. Good morning, Matt. Hope all is well with you. Says good morning, WNBA Cash. Let's jump into it for today. So jaXon up first. jaXon gave out 2 plays yesterday. 1-1 split. Bree Jones over 14.5 was a winner. Caitlin Clark over 9.5 assists was a loser. So split yesterday. Caitlin Clark got in foul trouble. Her and Aaliyah Boston got in foul trouble for people who were watching the game. Today's prompt, very similar to yesterday. 2 best player props is what I'm looking for in the W. I want 1 over, 1 under in today's prop, though. So jaXon likes A'ja Wilson over 21.5 points. Is A'ja Wilson points that low? I need to, hold on, before I even finish reading this, let's just make sure. That number seems really low. I never read these until, maybe I should start reading them. I never read them until I start the show. Let's see what A'ja. Yeah, that's not accurate. It's not 21.5. I was gonna say no way. A'ja Wilson points is 25.5, and that's -130. It's 27.5 on most books. So I'm actually not even gonna read that. Next prop though, in the under. Let's just make sure this line is accurate as well. And that is going to be Tina Charles under her rebound prop. And it says it's listed at 9.5, but this number is incorrect either. It's 7. It's actually 7.5. So I'm not gonna read either one of those. Let's see if I can come up with a different prompt real quick. That's actually pretty terrible. I literally just did it too. So, I mean, that's what it is with AI. Sometimes you got to double check. You got to make sure you're looking at the right things. Real quick, let's just see if I can get a best total bet for today's WNBA action real quick for you guys, so we have something. But A'ja Wilson has scored 22 points, didn't even sound right. And Tina Charles rebounds at 9.5 also seem a little too high. Maybe that's where the line's open. So we got let's see. We got the prompt. The new prompt is what is the best over under in today's WNBA games. And jaXon says it likes the Sun and Lynx over 159.5, which I do think is accurate based on what I was looking at earlier. Let's see. Yeah, you can get 150. You can actually get one. Yeah, 159.5. So this is accurate. Okay. So jaXon likes over, says the total has a 66% probability of hitting with a strong edge of 14.2% according to predictive analytical models. The Lynx are off to a hot start offensively, ranking second in offensive rating and averaging 85.3 points per game. Meanwhile, the Sun has struggled defensively, ranking 12th in defensive rating and allowed opponents to score efficiently. Player impact, Nafisha Collier has been dominant for the Lynx, averaging 28.3 points per game, and her high usage rate of 17.3 field goal attempts per game should drive scoring. The Sun, led by Tina Charles, have also showed offensive potential despite their struggles. The game context with the Lynx as 15-point favorites. This game should have a high scoring pace, especially if the Sun keep pushing the pace. So yeah, jaXon likes the over in that game. So yeah, just one play for jaXon for today. All right, yeah, we'll just leave it there. Check out the link in the description though. jaXon is still a very profitable money-making machine, even though it can spit out some inaccuracies. I always tell you guys, handicap it yourself and then go back and look at jaXon to see if it kind of correlates. Link in the description as always if you guys are interested in signing up. Let's jump into the first matchup that we have on the board, which is this Sun and Connecticut game. This is the one that I bet. The line that I bet is now gone. You do have to move on these pretty quickly. I would encourage you guys to join as members if you're interested in getting the plays. Like I said, when I send them out, all of these lines have actually moved. I only made a couple bet. Well, I only made one bet, but this one is gone. So I saw this at 14. That's when I hopped in. I want to say we got 14 last night. Let's just double check. Yeah, I got 14 last night. It's up to 16. I do think that the Lynx can still win this game by 16 points. Today we have a lot of, and let's go back. Yesterday we saw some, not yesterday, 2 days ago, we saw some dogs covered. Yesterday, both favorites ended up covering. Today, the way the matchup set up, we had some big spreads on Wednesday and the dogs covered. Today, the way the matchups are set up, I kind of think that the favorites win a few of these. So let's jump into this matchup. So the Sun, real quick, I always get ahead of myself. Let's look at the injury report just to make sure. I think Sanaya Rivers is going to be playing today. Just double check it. So Anisha Morrow has not played a game yet. Looks like she's game time decision. She's been upgraded to questionable. That will help out Connecticut a lot, in my opinion. On the Minnesota side of things, Elena Smith is listed as probable, as she was last game with a quad injury. They still will be without Kayla McBuckets. She's still out for personal reasons, but we'll see how that goes. So now, jumping into the matchup, the Connecticut Sun, first road game of the season. They're 0-2 straight up and 0-2 against the spread, losing by 5 points to the Washington Mystics and as a 3-point home dog in game number 1. And then they got absolutely obliterated by the Aces. Lost the game by 25 as a 14-point dog to the Aces on Tuesday night. This will be their first road game. And then on the Minnesota side of things, perfect 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread. They beat Dallas by 4 as an 11-point home favorite 2 nights ago. They played their last 2 games to the under, and they host Seattle, but not until Tuesday, which is significantly more rest because the Connecticut Sun actually got a game this weekend. So you could say Minnesota can go, all out in this spot. The Lynx advantages, they stem from a lot of different places. They're a strong transition team. They're a really good defensive team, aligning with their super fast pace, 94 possessions per game. This last season and their third this season as well. The Sun don't have a lot of advantages at all in this matchup. They are just a team that's going to struggle to score the basketball. It's just the Sun's just not a good basketball team, man. I think, the way that the Lynx came out in that game against Dallas, I think they'll be motivated. Only winning that game by 4. Probably, don't take it lightly on the Connecticut Sun in this spot. I like the Lynx. I just going through the numbers last night. They're a better defensive team, an opponent effective field goal percentage. They foul less. They're better rebounding team. They're better both offensively and defensively. So yeah, it's always hard to lay a lot of points, but there's such a big discrepancy between some of the good teams and some of the bad teams. I have been saying this for a while, and I'm gonna continue to say it. I think the Connecticut Sun finished with one of the worst 2 records in the WNBA this season. The Lynx will finish probably one of the top 2 records in the WNBA this season. So being that Minnesota didn't cover their last game, being that I watched the Aces absolutely smoke the Connecticut Sun in their last game and they were at home for that one, I think it's a Lynx spot. So I did lay the 14 yesterday. Like I said, this line is up to 16. As far as player props, I didn't bet any, but the one that I would be looking at, just go over real quick. The one that I would be looking at would probably be, let's see if we can get over to WNBA. Let's just minimize me just a tad bit. If I'm betting on a player in this game, it's probably going to be what I had written in my notes was Marina Mabrey. Mabrey has really struggled to start the season. I don't think that her breakout game is going to come against against one of the better defensive teams in the WNBA, being the Minnesota Lynx here. So Mabrey under her points, you can see here, her points prop has been setting pretty high. Has been set pretty high. I think she was at 17.5 or something like that in game number 1. And then it came down, I think, to 16.5, and now it's down to 15.5. So yeah, I'm thinking, back-to-back unders, only 11 and 7 points to start the season. You can see that she struggled last season. These 4 games were against Minnesota last season in the playoffs. So she has not done well. If we just look at the head-to-head matchup, she hasn't done well, only hit the over in one of those games. And I do think that Minnesota's going to run her off the three-point line as well. So also, if there's a potential blowout, Marina Mabrey is going to really struggle. But these are her first 2 games. You can see she's only shooting 25%, only shooting 15% from the three-point line, making 1 3 on 6.5 attempts, not getting to the free throw line a ton. And then her minutes, she played significantly less minutes because they got blown out in this game. And I think that they could get blown out again. So only 20 minutes in this one. I like Marina Mabrey under if I'm playing anything here. Think the line could still be a little bit too inflated until she plays against a weak defensive team. That's who I would be betting on, probably to go under. The players like Napheesa Collier, I would probably stay away from today just because this game could absolutely be a blowout. I would not want to get hooked or not be in a position where I need the Lynx to score a lot of points, and Napheesa Collier doesn't do so because Bridget Carlton and some of those role players play well. So that's my thought process on game 1. Let's see if you guys have anything to add here. What was I at in the comments? I agree, says I hate those kind of games. I think that we talking about this one. Let's see. What up, Ball Talk? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Mark says Courtney Williams over 11.5 rebounds and assists. Could not talk you off, Mark. We cashed on her. 6.5 assists in the last game. The Connecticut Sun are one of the worst defensive teams in the WNBA. Real quick, I think I got it pulled up. I haven't quite done my spreadsheet yet, like I typically did last year, just because I'm waiting to collect a little bit more data for the WNBA. But real quick, let's just go look at it. The Connecticut Sun are, let's see. So the Minnesota Lynx have the highest assist rate in the WNBA at 83.5. Second highest assist to turnover ratio as well. And if we just look at the defensive rating for teams, Connecticut Sun got the second worst defense behind the Atlanta Hawks right now. So could not talk you off Courtney Williams over her assist prop at all, Mark. I think she could absolutely get busy in this spot. She has gone up and over. I'm not sure what she finished with in the last game. Let's just double check. As soon as I saw her get to 7, I was like, cool. She finished with 7. So she's sitting at 7.5 today. Yeah, her to have, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if she got the 10 assists, honestly. So yeah, I would probably be playing on her over 7.5, even though it is at plus money and there's potential for a blowout. Mark says he tailed at 14 and moved fast. Thanks. Yeah, they did play fast. Dirty Rig says I play under 160 here because I don't trust the Sun to do their part in scoring enough, and I could not disagree. Dirty Rig, it's always difficult to play these totals, man. 77 figures says Lynx got OKC type spreads. Yeah, it's gonna be that way for sure. Minnesota team total might be a look. Sun aren't stopping anyone. That's a fact. Marina been dog poo. Yeah, she has been pretty bad. Let's see. Mabrey don't even want to be there. That's a fact. She's on the trading block, Dimes, and you can just kind of tell. I saw her looking at the, sitting on the bench against the Aces in the last game. I'm thinking to myself, like, man, she's thinking to herself, it's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be a long season for them. That's a fact. JFX says they couldn't cover the 11.5 last game, so bump them to 16 next game. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, in my opinion. And that's exactly why you got to go against what makes sense. And sometimes I'm thinking that they absolutely smoke them. The Dallas Wings are a team that has a lot more talent, JFX. I'm not sure how much you pay attention. They got a lot more talent than the Connecticut Sun. A lot more talent. Potential all-stars on that team. But yeah, that's my thought process. You can fade it if you want. Let's go to the next one. We got the Valkyries and the Sparks. This line is up to 11. Actually, I think it's up to 12. 10.5 on on Bet MGM. 11 on some books. I wrote that, so it's up. It's moved. It was at 9 yesterday when I first started looking at it. I was this close to laying it with the Sparks. I was like, man, 9 is a lot. The Valkyries stink. But let's talk about it. So the total actually opened 160.5. You can see that this come down to 159. Now I think 159 flat is the consensus. Actually 158 on a couple books. So you can get 158.5 or 159.5 and everything in between. So couple things to think about here. Let's start with the injury report. So the Valkyries have Monique Billings listed as game time decision. I did not see that last night. She's questionable due to a right ankle injury. So that's new to me as of right now. They also have Tiffany Hayes listed as out. This is what I was waiting for last night. All right. So this makes a lot of sense now. Okay. So she's been ruled out. This news dropped super late because I'm sitting here yesterday at like 4:30, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, waiting for this news to come out because I wanted to lay with the Sparks. Xander Seeley also listed as out based on what I'm seeing. On the Sparks side of things, no Cameron Brink, of course. Ray Burrell continues to be out. She's going to miss some time. And then Rakia Jackson, who got hurt, is also in concussion protocol. She's going to miss this game as well. So looking at this line, the movement makes a lot of sense to me now. I didn't know why. I should have just laid it because I saw Tiffany Hayes get hit in the nose by Shakira Austin, and it was bleeding profoundly. I thought she was going to play. I saw her do the thumbs up on the way out. She didn't come back into the game. They still end up winning, though. So let's set the table here. We got a Valkyries team that's 2-0 to the under. Their offense stinks. Matter of fact, let's just look at it real quick. The Valkyries offense is Valkyries have the second worst offensive rating behind the Chicago Sky. 85.1 is their offensive rating. So that's going to push the total down, right? From 160.5 down to 159.5. If you can get a 159.5, it may be beneficial to go ahead and play the under at 159.5. Looks like I only see one available on DraftKings right now. So that's my thought process on the total. They scored 67 points. It's the Valkyries. 67 points in game one. And that was against the same Sparks team. 76 in game. 67 points and 76 points in the first two games. And those games were at home, right? They're also coming off their first win in franchise history. They probably turned up a little bit after getting their first win. They weren't supposed to win the game. They beat the Washington Mystics in that last game. Beat them by 1 point, I think it was. Veronica Burton had a big game, 22 points and 8 rebounds with Tiffany Hayes going down. So now this is their first road game in their WNBA history. Now, when you look at the Sparks, right, coming off a 3-point loss and back-to-back losses, because they lost to who did they lose to on Sunday? They lost to Minnesota on Sunday. And then they just lost, of course, to the Phoenix Mercury in their last game. I think that they'll be motivated. I think they absolutely smoke the Valkyries today. Last point, these two teams just played last Friday in Golden State. The Sparks won that game 84-67 as a 5.5 point favorite. I think what I want to play is, I think it's a jump from the beginning too. This was 5.5 in the first half yesterday. It's now up to 6. I like the Valkyries. I like the Sparks -6. I think when I think about all of the offensive players that they have, even with Ray Burrell being out, even with Rakia Jackson being out, you still got De'Erica Hamby. I told you guys I'm real big on Azurá Stevens. Can't even forget to mention Kelsey Plum, who just dropped 37 against the same team on Friday. I think they get smoked. So Sparks first half. Probably gonna end up adding that. It was 5.5 last night. I like that it hasn't moved that much. I think from the beginning it's gonna be a big punch in the mouth early. So that's what I'll add that to the short list. Valkyries. I'm sorry, not Valkyries. Let's see, Minnesota -14. Valkyrie, Los Angeles first half -6. I think honestly it could be a trifecta spot for the Sparks. And it's not even that they have a great defense. It's more so just because I don't think the Valkyries going to be able to score, especially without Tiffany Hayes being there. That's my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and then we'll go to the next one. Sparks without Kia Jackson hurts a bit. I got to take the Vows plus 11. Played very unafraid. I got to give it to him. All right, so me and Dirty Rig on the other side. What up, Dream? Hope all is well. Shout out to my guy Dream. Blunt Money Bets. It's just top of the morning game. Great to catch a live show. Hit the like button, y'all. Appreciate you, Dream. As always, bro. Excel says Golden State, LA under first half 79. Kelsey Plum hit 4 threes. Looking at Atlanta team total over. I think those are good ways to get paid, Mark. I couldn't talk you off. Dream says, I love the Mystics first quarter team total under 18 and a half. May get a 19 and a half, but Mystics haven't scored over 15 in the first quarter yet. Aces allowed 13 and 19 to the Liberty. Actually, like all dogs to go under their first quarter team total. Okay. Yeah, let's get to that game. Yeah, I didn't look into player props. It's hard. It's difficult for me with the Sparks just because they do have so many players that can go off on a given night. Last game it was Azare. It wouldn't surprise me if it's De'Erica Hamby tonight, especially if Monique Billings is not down there to play a little bit of defense. Like that front line for the Valkyries without Monique Billings and without Tiffany Hayes, that's like two of their best 5 players, and we already got to mention it's not a team that has a lot of star power on it. So just some things to kind of take into consideration. I'll be on the Sparks before I'm taking the points with the Valkyries, even though I understand it's a big line. So let's get over to that next game that Dream was just talking about, which is the Mystics and the Aces. I was this close to playing the Aces minus 12.5 last night as well. I didn't get to the number. I did see the injury report with Shakir Austin being listed as out. That's a big one. If you like the Aces, because now who's going to slow down Agent Wilson? Kiki is an absolute monster. Kiki Irfin is absolute monster. However, it's levels, right? And Agent Wilson, the best center in the WNBA, maybe still leaving the best player in the WNBA as well. Big Mama Steph gonna have her hands full. Agent Wilson could do whatever she wants to in this matchup, especially without the services of somebody like a Shakir Austin. So Shakir is out. No Aaliyah Edwards as well. Meg Gustafson and Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is still out. They're going to remain out for quite a while, I think. I'm not sure about Meg Gustafson, but Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is out from maternity leave, so she's going to continue to miss time. So we just saw this was the game. I thought this game was in DC. It's not. It's in LA. So this opened with the like I said, the Aces laying 12.5. The total was 164.5, so it has come up. The Aces spread has gotten bigger as well. So we just saw the Mystics lose the game to the Valkyries. Like that we kind of talked about not laying points with the Mystics because it was their first game on the West Coast after playing against the Connecticut Sun and having to fight tooth and nail to win that game. So I talked about thinking that we got lucky covering that spread on Sunday. Now they get the Aces, and to Dream's point, I think it's a punch early. For whatever reason, Dream's right. The Mystics cannot, for whatever reason, come out sound. I also think when you got 2 starters in your lineup with Sonia Citron, which I think Sonia is nice, and Kiki as well. I like both of those. I'm just not a big Sugg Sitton fan. Always got to give it to Slim. She gonna go out there, do her thing. And then Big Mama Steph, I think she's kind of one-dimensional. She only wants to be out there to spread the floor and shoot threes. I do expect this game to be played fast. Ace's first game back home, coming back from the East Coast in Connecticut, but it's also their season opener. I like the Aces early here. I think first half, first quarter is probably the best of the looks on the board. I haven't bet in either one of them yet, but you can get the Aces first half -8. I do think that they're going to be winning this game by double digits. You can get the Aces first quarter -3, -4.5. I think I know those numbers seem a little big because you need to be winning by 2 possessions, but those are the ways that I will be playing this. Aces first quarter, Aces first half. I do think that the Mystics going to fight tooth and nail for sure. I just think it's a big talent discrepancy. We finally saw Jewel Lloyd break out in the second game against Connecticut. Chelsea Gray got that ball on the string. Jackie Young has been playing really, really big for them. And like I said, it's a season opener. So I think the Aces fans are going to be turned up for this one as well. So I like Aces early if I had to bet anything in this one. Aces first quarter, Aces first half. And if I had to pick one between the two, probably just Aces first half. I think that they'll have an 8-point lead in this one early as well. I don't like the dogs today. I don't think they're going to be barking. That's just my thought process. Let's see. Excel says Mystics versus Aces over 40. won in the second quarter specifically. Okay, it's a interesting look. Okay, no, not a lot of thoughts there. Maybe people haven't done their homework. Let's move over to the next one then. Last one on the board, which is the Mercury and the Storm. So this line opened 3.5. Seattle was only laying 3.5, and the total opened 155 and a half. 155. It's up 2.5 points to 157. I think is what I saw. And the big one, the big news here. Actually, it's not that big of news. I was thinking somebody else got hurt. I saw Alyssa Thomas had, for people who got a chance to see, she had a big knot on her forearm. I mean, on her wrist. I thought that was going to take her out of the, maybe she popped up on the injury report. She's actually not even listed on the injury report. Absolute dog, Alyssa Thomas is. And then Kalia Copper continues to be out. No Natasha Mack either. The Seattle Storm, one of the only teams in the WNBA that do have a clean injury report. So Phoenix, of course, just beat the Los Angeles Sparks. They're now 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread after winning and covering that first game against Seattle. So you got the quick revenge spot here for Seattle. And then if we go back and look at it real quick, let me just go back and look at it. So going back and looking at that first game that they played, I was on Phoenix. I was on Seattle in that game, caught them at plus 3.5. And of course, they, came out and wet the bed. The way I would play this one, if I had to bet it, we've seen 2 games of Phoenix now. Phoenix has played pretty well offensively. They got to 81 in game 1. Only need 81 in game 1 against Seattle. That game did stay under the total of 158. This total opened a little bit lower, even though it's being bet up. And then we saw them get to 89 against LA, against the Sparks. Just a couple nights ago. Seattle has a 2-day rest advantage here. Seattle also plays Las Vegas, but not until Sunday. The Phoenix Mercury play. They go back home to host the Washington Mystics on Sunday as well. So I think 6 is now maybe a tad bit too many points. Seattle, I talked about this in the season preview. They are a team that plays a lot better at home than they play on the road. For whatever reason. 6 just seems like a tad bit too much, though. Maybe 3.5 yesterday. I kind of thought some news would break on Alyssa Thomas, which is why I didn't move on it. I was kind of waiting, but the market agrees. They pushed this to 5.5. I don't know. I kind of just, if I had to play, I think we see a little bit of regression from the Phoenix Mercury's offense. So if we go back to, I just want to quickly do this real quick. If we go back to game number 1 of the season between these two teams. Let me see if I can find it real quick. We go back to game 1. I remember the Phoenix Mercury turning over the Phoenix Mercury turned over the Seattle Storm a lot in that game, and it contributed to them scoring a lot of points. So the team total right now for the Mercury is 76.5. I think probably a first half team total under, because they can start scoring in the second half. I do think Seattle's going to be turned up. This, of course, is their season opener as well. If we go back and look at that first game real quick, like I said, the Mercury only got to 81 points in that game, but Seattle struggled to score. So we're going to see if the Mercury's defense is as real as it has been in the first 2 games. Real quick, I just want to pull this up real quick and see how I know that they were hitting a lot of threes. I expect the 3-point defense to be a little bit better. Satu had 27. She was a monster in that game. So Phoenix only shot 8 for 24 from the 3-point line, 33%. They got 16 points in transition, 16 fast break points, and they scored 18 points off of the 13 turnovers committed by Seattle. I think that's going to be the biggest discrepancy here. I talked about in the first matchup, Alyssa Thomas having to deal with Ezzy, having to deal with Nneka, having to deal with Malunga. I do think that they're going to make an impact. I would probably be betting on Alyssa Thomas under her points prop as well. So that would be my thought process in this game. I didn't bet it, though. Maybe a look towards Seattle early, first half spread, or first half team total under would be the way that I would look. Because I do think Seattle is going to play with some vengeance in this one. So Seattle, I'll just add first half Seattle -2.5. You can get right now on ESPN Bet, 3s and 3.5s are everywhere else. But they got the best number. So those are my thought processes on all the games actually. Going back, Dirty Rig says Kiki 8 rebounds for me as a parlay piece. Go Mercury. Dream says filling Scholar points and assists tonight. NECA 2. NECA, I think is Dream. What you think about Ezzy? Ezzy, I think shot 1 for 9 in that game. Her and Gabby Williams had terrible games. I think they combined to go like 2 for 20 or 3 for 19 or something crazy like that. Yeah, it was bad, but Scholar did hoop. Scholar has been hooping. We'll see if those guards can hold her down because they did a pretty good job in game 1 when they played. She did her thing against the Wings in that last game though. Dirty Rick says I passed on the Mercury game. Yeah, I may not get there and actually bet it, but I kind of feel like this is a nice little bounce back spot for him early. Cubba Joe says morning. Sorry I'm late on the Mystics plus 14 and a better number is available. I have too much faith in them girls. Maybe Mercury plus 4.5 and negative on the CLV as well. Man, Mark says missed the 3.5. No play for me. Yeah, I think early could be the look. Any thoughts on over full game? Nah, the reason why, Nitro, for me would be because I need to see what these are two teams that we've seen play before, but not in this environment, right? This will be Seattle's first home game. This will be the Phoenix Mercury first road game. So are the Phoenix Mercury at a sell spot, right? Because they played their first 2 games at home against, I think they kind of shocked the Seattle Storm in that first game. And then, they took care of Seattle in that game as well. You still got really good players out there. Satu Sabali is probably going to make the All-Star team this season. She's been hooping in her first 2 games. Couldn't talk anybody off one to play her points prop again. And then Alyssa Thomas is an absolute dog. Some of those role players have been playing a little bit better than I expected as well. So, yeah, I don't really have too many thoughts on the total because I kind of want to see how these teams play in this environment. Last year, Seattle was a lot better defensively. The offense also played a little bit better. They shot the 3-point shot better at home. We'll see if that transitions over. Adam says he'll play the Storm. Dream says Ezzy got to break out sooner or later, and that's a fact. I think so as well. Ball Talk says she's turning into Bismack Biyombo. Oh, man, that's funny. That is funny, man. All right, so quick recap, man. I bet Minnesota. I think they smoked the Connecticut Sun probably by 15 to 20 points today. That's the only thing that I played so far. I like the favorites today, though, man. I do like the favorites, whether it's first quarter or first half. I know want to give a shout out to who I want to give a shout out to. Give a shout out to Dropping Dimes because he's been talking about that first quarter team total over for the Aces. I could definitely see a first quarter team total over for the Aces for sure today. First game at the crib, Mystics defense is not that great. We saw the Aces offense bounce back in a big way when they weren't playing against the Liberty in their last game. So yeah, I think Aces first quarter team total 23.5. I think they can get to 24. I do think they can get to 24. So these are the recommendations. If I add anything, which I may do, it's 4 games. I'm gonna be watching all of them. Try my best to watch all of them tonight as well. Use that link in the description to sign up. Whenever I do make the plays, they'll be directly delivered to your email inbox. Check the resources out as well. jaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, OddsJam, all those good things, man. Best of luck on whatever action is that you play. We'll be back tomorrow. There's more WNBA games. Catch you guys there, man. Drop the show in the show link in the group chat as well. Hit the like button on the way out. Appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. I'll catch you guys in the next one.